federal government moves to fast-track cash transfers to 15 million households. Forex inflow into Nigeria declines as Naira trades at new rates in all markets. Executive Vice Chairman to head Nigeria Revenue Service as Senate passes 2 tax reform bills. Securities and Exchange Commission begins tech adoption assessment for capital market. Oil prices steady after dropping as economic uncertainty, supply concerns weigh. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Maria Aduzakari. Welcome. The federal government has commenced the implementation of its economic and financial inclusion strategy aimed at improving access to economic opportunities for Nigeria. To this end, government has established an interagency task force to address challenges delaying President Tinubu's approved conditional cash transfers to 15 million vulnerable households. At the inaugural meeting of the Technical Committee of the Presidential Committee on Economic and Financial Inclusion, Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadijia, explained that the meeting brought together high-level stakeholders from government agencies, financial institutions, and academia to align on the President's vision and execution roadmap.
Speaks to providing quality financial services, access to credit, and the visibility that a digital platform will give. You know what these people are doing from the cash transfer perspective. Yes, even having an account and giving people unconditional cash grants over 2 years might do something for their livelihood, but I don't think that's the answer.
There are challenges around NIM number, for those people who are affected, So there were a lot of deliberations were done. So at the end of the day, a committee, interagency committee, was set up in order to ensure that we unlock those challenges and ensure immediate disbursement of those conditional cash transfer funds to the vulnerable and poor Nigerians.
It is important to be able to lift Nigerians out of poverty. And one of the beauties of the NIN is that it bridges that financial divide, and it ensures that once any citizen has their NIN, they're able to have easy access to government services.
We need to deliver key implementable and visible results for the lower end of the market. So the financial inclusion and, in addition, the economic inclusion is very important to achieving the mandate.
Economic and financial inclusion is every Nigerian's problem. How do we bring the collective wisdom in the House to ensure that we get to the last mile? And then how do we ensure that through the Secretariat and the committee that we're looking at problems, but not just looking at them for the sake of talking, but setting ourselves targets and milestones to ensure that we're actually making progress and reporting that progress back.
State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jabrilla reports that the meeting also endorsed steps to work with state governments in localizing data to financial services survey, a biennial study conducted by the Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access in Nigeria. Forex inflow into the country declines as Naira trades at new rates in all markets. How much is the Naira exchanging for other currencies? Let's find out. The Nigerian tax reform bills are at the conclusion stage of legislation as Senate passes 2 of the 4 bills this Wednesday, as schedules the passage of the other 2 on Thursday, May the 8th, 2025. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that 4 tax reform bills have already been passed by the House of Representatives, but had to await concurrence of the Senate.
A bill for an act to provide for the assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruing to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the states and local governments prescribe the powers and functions of tax authorities and for related matters, third reading taken.
The legislative journey of the 4 tax reform bills meant to modernize and make more efficient the tax system in Nigeria began in October 2024 at the National Assembly. It was the brainchild of President Bola Tinubu administration and incubated by the Fiscal and Tax Reform Team, finally coming to life after extensive engagements with stakeholders.
The committee also in its wisdom sat with all, had a very robust public hearing and got to where we are now. And thank God all these areas have been, resolved. That's why this is a bit of democracy.
The report of the Senate Committee on Finance highlighted objectives of the tax reforms with a new breakdown of the value-added tax, which over time has been the issue of contention.
The basis of sharing this VAT, which is one of the major issues of this bill.
We all agreed that VAT will be shared based on consumption.
During the clause-by-clause consideration of the Joint Revenue Board Bill and the Nigeria Revenue Service Bill, lawmakers made observations and amendments with regards to appointments, administration and jurisdiction, some of which were adopted.
A warrant issued by the Executive Vice Chairman, approved by the Minister, is also subjected to another approval by the National Assembly. That will cause a lot of delay.
Any act or thing done by the service or the board under any of the laws referred to in sub-clause 2 shall not be subject to challenge. It's draconian and obnoxious.
Draconian, obnoxious, and self-serving.
Yes, sir.
89 up to clause 93. Whether we can establish state internal revenue services for states with their functions, with their management, structures for state revenue services. Can we, under the Constitution, Mr. Chairman, I have my concern?
We cannot.
The Red Chamber has scheduled Thursday, 8 May 2025, for the passage of the Nigeria Tax Administration and the Nigeria Tax Bills, announcing that should there be differences in the bills passed by the House of Representatives, a conference committee would be set up to harmonize and transmit same to the President for assent.
Away from the Senate now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has kickstarted the Technology Adoption Assessment for registered capital market operators. The exercise entails assessing the adoption of advanced technologies among registered capital market operators. SEC, in a circular, said the Technology Adoption Survey is designed by the Commission to assess the adoption of advanced technologies among registered capital market operators. The survey will be available for 2 weeks between 5th to 20th of May 2025. The SEC called on all capital market operators to direct their inquiries to innovation@sec.gov.ng. In today's interconnected world, digital economy skills are crucial for individuals and economies alike to remain competitive. As digital transformation reshapes industries, those with the right skills are better equipped to succeed. To explore what digital economy skills entail and how it can build a future-ready workforce is a tech policy expert and founder, HTC Academy, Jafaru Hanniel. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we've heard a lot about digital skills. How important would you say they are in today's economy?
The importance of digital skill cannot be overemphasized because of the path in which the world is moving and the direction in which the world is going. We are going into a globalized world where digital skill is now largely becoming the order of the day. And as we advance into the industrial revolution, the fifth industrial revolution, which is largely powered by the principle of personalization and driven by the introduction of the AI, the automation industry, and also the robotic industry, it's quite important and necessary that we begin to cultivate and harness the benefits that will come from engaging our youth in the area of having these digital skills.
Well, if as a country we must build a digitized workforce, what would you say must be in place for that to happen?
Well, a whole lot of things must be in place. In fact, let's even start from the three different categories of digital skills or digital those that drive the digital economy. We have the digital transformers, we have the digital users, and we have the digital innovators. Okay. So the digital users are further even divided into two. We have those that acquire digital skills for the purpose of efficiency, personal efficiency. Then we have those that acquire digital skills for the purpose of corporate efficiency. So then going to the digital innovators are those that acquire digital skill for the purpose of entrepreneurship. And the last set is digital transformers, those that acquire digital skills or those that have advanced in acquiring digital skills for the purpose of transferring those skills to the next generation. So when it has to do with digital skills, there are a lot of things that need to be in place. One of it is the fact that we need to embed digital literacy into the curriculum of our everyday, the young students in the primary and secondary education so that they are able to acquire these skills while growing up. For many of us, we acquire these skills at the latter part of our lives, and if we are able to embed some of these skills at the earlier part of this generation, that's the younger ones now, I think it's going to help us in achieving good things. Now we need for us to acquire or to benefit or advance in this digital skill, there is need for us to have high broadband penetration rates. Currently we are hovering around 46 to 53% broadband penetration rate around the country, and there are countries that are already at 95%. So for us to be able to integrate digital skills and ensure that we benefit from the advantages of having a digital skill or digital literate citizens, there is need for increased broadband penetration. Then there's also the need for us to be able to address the issue of power, because digital literacy would require, engaging digital skills will require you having digital devices, and some of these devices are largely powered by power. So it's important that we are able to address the concern of power for us to be able to effectively make use of these digital, the benefit that comes from the digital skills.
Okay, now you just talked about starting to catch them young. What would you say the role of digital skills will be in promoting inclusive growth?
Well, once we are able to integrate that in digital skill or digital literacy into the curriculum that we have now, it helps to not segment, but bring everyone together, not minding your gender, your religion, and also your growing environment. Education is one area that everybody everybody is pursuing, and if we're able to integrate digital literacy into the curriculum of our everyday young pupils, they would be able to acquire these skills, and it's going to increase the, create a balance, equity, and also diversity in ensuring that everyone has, everyone that is in school is able to acquire that skill.
Around the world, tech isn't just about tech as per se. It's about economic survival. Would you say as Nigerians were already there? If not, what's the way forward to there?
Well, we are among those in Africa, that is among the countries in Africa that's pushing and ensuring that we get there. India, we can say India as a country is there because the gig economy in India it seems to be the best in the world. That does not mean that Nigerians are not exploring that option. In fact, the future of work is largely the gig economy. There may be no permanent jobs in future. Most jobs are going to be short-term jobs and on contract basis. So the Indians have been able to capitalize on that, on the gig economy. And Nigerians, we are growing and we are getting there, but we've not gotten there. So what I think we need to do is for the government to begin to explore the potential and the opportunities that come with us engaging in the gig economy, which will largely have a major influence with the introduction of AI in the way we bring efficiency in business processes and also productivity. So we need to begin to look at the gig economy and ensure that we are able to explore the opportunities and the benefits that comes with engaging in the gig economy.
Okay, as Nigerians, what would you say, what skill sets would you say we should focus on to actually face the reality of tech in the world, around the world?
Okay, so there are short-term skill sets, which as it stands now, there are skill sets that you can acquire now, and within the next 10 years, it will be obsolete. There are skill sets you can acquire now that are not quite relevant at this point in time, but within the next 10 years, they would be very relevant and lucrative. So one of those skill sets is, cybersecurity is one of those skill sets that I think the government should focus on ensuring that we are able to get experts in the country to specialize in. And beyond cybersecurity, we should also look at the area of software development. But software development, even though it is one area that I believe would have a strong, would be impacted strongly by AI with the whole development of large language model that is able to develop develop codings and programs. But when it has to do with quality, there is still a need for human oversight. So we will now begin to see more of quality software development as against just having a software developer that does not focus on quality. So we should also look at the automation industry, because the automation industry is one area that's going to bring a whole lot of job in the world, and the AI, also the AI industry. For the AI industry, there is the aspect of AI security that we should focus on building professionals in. There is the aspect of AI governance that we should focus on building professionals in. And there is also a new area known as ethical AI, which is ethicist. It's also a profession. It's also an area that the government can focus on building professionals in. Now, away from AI, there is what's known as cyber diplomacy, a new industry, a new field of study in tech that we should also begin to see how we can build professionals in, and some other areas like cloud computing, creative intelligence or creative technology is also one area we should look at as a country. So there are a whole lot of new areas, many of which we don't even know at the moment because it is still an evolving state. Most of them are still evolving, but we have to beam our light on the careers that will come from the introduction of AI, because it has always been a trend. When there is a new industrial revolution, old jobs are swept under the carpet and new jobs begin to emerge. So we have to begin to look at how some of these new jobs we can begin to build skill sets in them and train personnel in those skill sets.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hanniel, for your insights on the program. I believe we'll be better ready for the internet.
Thank you so much for having me.
Moving on, program in northern Nigeria, the federal government has signed a financing agreement for the value chain program in northern Nigeria to revolutionize the nation's agricultural sector. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jabrilla reports that the signing of the agreement, the implementation of the 158 tillers project begins immediately to support agricultural development and value addition for farmers in 9 states of the northern part of the country.
Models. Ours is not about replicating foreign templates. It is about what we can and must do here in our own land and with our own hands. A few weeks ago, we began laying the foundation for the construction of special agro-industrial processing zones across Nigeria, beginning in the north, specifically in Kaduna State. BCN will feed into the SAPZs. It will serve as a steady pipeline of raw materials and ensuring our processors no longer grow for quality inputs. This synergy will shift us from exporting raw produce to exporting value-added goods, creating jobs, wealth, and industrial stability.
And VCN exemplifies the power of collaboration and shared vision in addressing the challenges faced by our farmers and rural communities. As Vice Chairperson of the IFAD Governing Council, I am confident that the VCN will deliver real impact, empower smallholder farmers, boosting productivity, and promoting climate-resilient, nutrition-sensitive, and inclusive value chains.
By the time we have sufficient jobs and our farmers are getting rewards from their farms, we are likely to see improvement in security situation in our country.
State like ours that has a lot of security challenges, we need the support on IDPs because that support will create a financial ability for those people in that position.
We are ready to work with the IFAD, and IFAD is not a new in the agricultural sector in Nigeria, and we know how good they are and what they can do.
We'll do this collaborating with the state. The states are very critical in the implementation of this project, and that's why you are also able to see the participation of the governors in this meeting.
The federal government has introduced the National Agribusiness Policy Mechanism aimed at transforming the country's food system and fostering a favorable environment for investment in the agricultural sector. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that the policy was developed in collaboration with subnational governments and the private sector under the oversight of the Presidential Food System Coordinating Unit within the presidency.
PFSCU's work is focused on food security stabilization, addressing hunger now, boosting food production and productivity, helping farmers grow more and better food.
NAPM is designed to serve as a unifying platform, one that brings greater coherence to our policies, fosters collaboration across all levels of government, and ensures that data and evidence are at the center of every decision we make. This mechanism will help us not only harmonize our efforts, but also to unlock private investment.
The NAPM is one of the direct responses to that renewed hope mantra. It aligns squarely with Mr. President's priorities of inclusive economic transformation.
In Kaduna State, we are already taking strategic steps. We have developed state-specific policies like our contract farming policy, soybean policy, gender in agriculture policy, and ease of doing business in agriculture strategies.
In Jigawa State, we have invested extensively in building a robust and far-reaching agricultural extension network. It serves as a backbone of our rural economy and stands ready to support deeper engagement with the NAPL.
It's over to Moplank Dakok for a summary of the global market.
Thank you, Maria.
Global stocks are in green this Thursday morning. European stocks opened in positive territory as traders digest a commotion of earnings and anticipate rate decisions from regional central banks and a potential UK-US trade deal. Germany's DAX was higher at 0.86%. Britain's FTSE was also up by 0.09%. And the CAC 40 of France also followed suit at 0.40%. Asian markets were mostly higher after the U.S. Federal Reserve expectedly kept rates unchanged. Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 traded higher at 0.41% at 36,928.63 basis points. Mainland China's Shanghai Composite was also up by 0.28% at 3,352, while Hang Seng Index of Hong Kong also advanced by 0.43% at 22,787.73 basis points. In the U.S., stock futures are slightly higher on the heels of the Federal Reserve holding steady on rates. The Dow Jones Industrial Average advanced 0.43%, S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq Composite all pointed upwards. And back home in Africa, we have South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 already up by as much as 8.98%. And in the same southern part of Africa, Namibia is also open, but it's down by 0.18%, while other markets on the continent are yet to post new numbers this morning. It's back to you, Maria.
Well, this is where we end this edition of the program. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Business Experts returns tomorrow, Friday by 3 p.m. I am Maria Adozakari saying keep thinking and doing business.